Hi, anyone who's watching on YouTube. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes, but unfortunately today I don't have my um, web camera because I'm using a different computer, so we're just going to have to muddle through. But I'm just going to see if sharing my screen works okay. Uh, let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm sharing my whole screen here. Can everyone see this? You see bit of the PowerPoint and the background.
Yep, we can see that, Louise.
Okay, brilliant. All right, in that case, I'll give it a minute and then we'll get started. Actually, no, we won't because I need somewhere to find my notes. Okay. This is the problem, you don't have two screens. Um, present view. Let's see if I can just share one of these. Okay, yeah, I'll get started in 2 seconds. Just trying to navigate. Okay, let's try this again. Share my screen. Okay, sorry, Emma and Nadia, can you confirm that you can just see the PowerPoint for now?
Yep, we can just see the PowerPoint.
Okay, awesome. Right, okay, in that case then, let's get started. It might be a bit clunky because I don't have two screens today, so there'll be a lot of like me moving between sharing my screen and then stopping, but we'll just work with it. Okay, so for those of you that are on the live stream, hi everyone, my name is Louise Capenet and I'm part of the Computational Social Science Training Team at the UK Data Service. I'm going to be running today's code alongside my colleague Nadia Kenar, who's going to be sort of facilitating along with Emma and just sort of manning the YouTube live stream chat. There we go. So yeah, before we get started, just a few little notes about interaction. So we are currently live streaming to YouTube, and these sessions are supposed to be interactive and a really good opportunity for you to just post any of your questions about the content that we cover. So if you would like to get involved, then just make sure that you're signed into your YouTube account and you can then post some comments, which Nadia will read out to me during the session. I can then respond to any of these comments and help you out on any areas that you might be struggling with. But yeah, please bear in mind that there is a slight delay on the live stream of about 30 seconds or something. So if you're wondering why I maybe haven't got around to your question yet, the chances are I'm going to get around to it in about 30 seconds from then. Okay, so wow, I guess ignore that. We're rerunning this, so ignore that. It's not Christmas around the corner yet. But okay, this is strange because I did change this today. It should say that we're obviously on the 22nd of July. I probably just got the wrong version. So this, yeah, this is actually the wrong version. So, okay, it should be version 3. Where did I have that open? There we go. Yeah, sorry about this. I'm just okay. Let's do that in present. Okay, let's show this again. Okay, right. So we're on the right topic for today. Again, yeah, it should say 22nd, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So for today's session, we're going to be covering the ins and outs of file navigation. And for those of you that attended our first session on the command line, you might think, well, haven't we already sort of got round to that? And you'd be right that we did cover some basic commands. So we did cd, so that's change directory. We used dir, which is the Windows command to list all the directories and subdirectories and files when you're in a certain directory. But what we're going to do today is build on that knowledge and go a little bit deeper into directory navigation and file management. So I guess a good place to start is just by refreshing ourselves on what file navigation is. So in simple terms, it's about locating and organizing files and directories on your computer. So you can think about it like finding your way around a filing cabinet. So you need to know where things are stored to retrieve or organize them effectively. And this skill is just extremely, useful for anyone who wants to undertake projects involving computational methods. It's going to help you manage your project, run your scripts, and just ensure that your work is really nice and neat and organized. So let's have a look at some of those basic commands again. So as I've said, we've got change directory. So you can see here we've got this nice little table, and it will show you the Windows commands and the Mac commands. So I will maybe demonstrate them in a bit, but for now, let's just go through them. So change directory. So remember, if you're in Windows, you're going to be using these forward slashes. Are they forward or backward? I'm not sure, but basically it's the other way around in Mac, so be aware of that. In Windows as well, it will automatically tell you where in your file system you are, whereas in Mac you need to use this pwd command to print out that current working directory. I guess it could be a good time to demonstrate some of these, so we can just refresh ourselves. So let's stop sharing, move that down and share the whole screen. Okay. So if you're on Windows, I'm not usually on Windows, so this is a little bit weird for me, but I'm gonna hopefully get all these commands right. So you want to type in CMD so you can get your command prompt. Should come up. Let's just snap this to the corner of the screen. Is that actually might not be because that's covering it. Okay. So you can see nicely in Windows, it tells me, okay, you're in this hard drive, you're in your users folder. It's got my university username, which is just a bunch of numbers, and my initials. So you can see it's quite nice that we get that sort of pathway. It tells us where we are. So if I were to go into my file system right now, we're in the root folder. So we're here, I think anyway. Yeah, so we're in here. So you can see, right, that the path matches the one that shows on the command line. So we can try using some commands here. So if we want to list everything that's here, so all our files and our folders, we can use this dir command. So you can see I've got all the names here of everything that's not very populated at the minute because this is a new computer, but we can try using change directory. So let's maybe go to our downloads folder. So if we use that dir command again, we can see what's in here. Not very much. There's just seems to be a PowerPoint file. And then we can use, you might remember from the first session that we can use this little tilde operator here, and that gets us back to that root folder. So you can see, oh, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it's probably because I'm using I was using a PowerShell before. So what you can do is you can use these dots here, and that will go up a file. So if we used it again, we'll go into users. I should find out how to get back into the root folder. I'm sure there's a different command. Anyway, let's try a few other commands out. So we've got system info. So you probably won't use this that much at all. It's just going to give you some information about the system. So your operating system name, using Windows 11, it'll tell you the version, manufacturer, all that kind of stuff. You can use this command set. So that's going to show you all of these environment variables. So you can set different environment variables. We won't worry too much about this now. If you're on Mac, you can see you can carry on follow along with all the equivalent commands that are in this middle column here. So we've got a very important command here, del. So that's going to delete files. You have to be really careful with that because it does permanently delete them. It doesn't go into the sort of trash can or anything. It does permanently delete them, so be very careful with that. We've got the it tells you the version of Windows that you're using, and we've got this help command as well. Oh, okay. Again, it could be because some of these commands might work in the PowerShell, or they might require actually require a command to go with them. No. Okay, well, we'll just ignore that for now. Okay, so let's return, well, actually, let's go to the next slide and see what commands we have here. Okay, so we have some common file management commands. So these are going to be really useful, and we're going to be doing a few little exercises using these today. So we have, again, the requisite commands in Mac, and a little explanation here of what they do. So we've got copy, and that's going to copy a file or a folder. Move, so you might want to move your files around. Obviously, you can do that in the File Explorer, but it is quite handy to get to grips with it on the command line as well. It just makes things much easier. Again, we've got del for delete and the rm for Mac. Again, yeah, you've got to be really careful with this as it doesn't remove those files to the recycle bin. Another important command that we have is this mkdir, and what that does is it makes a new directory, so you can create a new folder anywhere, and we'll be doing that in one of the little practical exercises coming up. And rmdir, so basically removes a directory, and this little tag here removes directories and their contents recursively too. In terms of creating a new empty file, on the new PowerPoint that I'm not able to find at the minute, we're actually not going to use this echo command because we're using we're not using the PowerShell, we're using the command prompt on Windows. We're going to use something called null. So I will show you how to do that. And but the command you want to know for Mac is touch. Let me just anything. Let's maybe get the there we go. Stop sharing for a minute. I don't suppose Nadia or Emma, there's any comments in the live stream, any questions at this point?
No, nothing at the moment.
Okay, cool. In that case, let me just have a look, see where we're up to. Okay, well, let's go back to the screen. Okay, so there doesn't appear to be anything I've missed in the notes. it just seems that we've gone through the content maybe a little bit faster than I expected to. So this is sort of towards the end of the session. But what we're going to do now is, if you want, you can follow along, and we'll just do a little practical exercise, which, you know, just test some of those things that we've learned, some of the commands in the table. So what I'm going to ask you to do is open your command line interface, so whether that's the command prompt or terminal. So if you're using Mac, you're probably used to using the terminal, but for those of us that are on Windows, we're going to do the same thing we did just before. So we're going to type in CMD in our start menu. We'll get that command prompt. Okay. Again, I am using Windows, which I don't usually do, so it might be a little bit rusty. So just bear with me. This takes a minute. Let's minimize that. Okay. Right, so what have we got here? So you're going to use the CD command to navigate to your desktop. This is a little bit different for me because I'm using Windows, so it doesn't come up for me here. I have to navigate to this directory here. Now, something we will learn about further down the line is that command lines don't like empty spaces. So you can see here we've got like a couple of like empty spaces. So because we're going to navigate to this file, what we're going to do is we'll do CD, but if you've got anything that has these empty spaces in it, you're going to want to wrap it in quotations, okay? So I've just copied that, let's put it here. So in order to navigate to that with spaces, just wrap it in quotes. So let's then do directory, see what we've got here. I should have my desktop. Yeah, I can see it there. As you can see, a little bit messy here. It's got a bunch of files and a bunch of folders and stuff. So let's navigate to that desktop. Let's list what we have here. So we don't have anything, but we do have, seems to be just a directory called test. Probably one of the ones that I made in a previous session. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new folder called test folder using that make directory command. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to call it test folder. Now, obviously, we can use dir again to see if it's there, but we can also just see if we've actually got it. So yeah, you can see here, I'll go ahead and delete this one because I'm not working with that one anymore. So yeah, we've successfully managed to create that. So let's go back and yeah, so we've used dir, or if you're on Mac, you will have used that ls to check that it's there, and sure enough, it is. So let's move on, see what else we've got. Okay, so what we're going to do now is navigate to that test folder that we've just created, and then we're going to create a empty text file using either the echo command on Windows, which actually that's wrong. So we're not going to use this echo command. I'm going to use a command called null, followed by this little operator here. But if you're on Mac, you'll be using the touch command. And then we're going to copy that file to another folder and delete the original file. So let's go ahead and see if I can do this. So let's try navigating first to that file that I created. So that test file. Oh, that's not going to work because it's called test folder. Okay. Right. So with that, yep, there's nothing in there at the minute. 0 files there. So let's use null. I'm going to follow it with this operator, and then I'm going to call it test.txt. Definitely worked before. Maybe it's the this. Oh, I know why. It's because it's just NUL, not double L. Okay. Test.txt. Oh, I'm going insane. Okay, let me just double check that. Okay. No. It's because it's preceded by type. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to reshare the screen. Okay. Sorry about that. So basically what you want to do is you want to, before you put null, you need to put type. So type null, followed by the operator, and then, so let's see, that should work now. Nice, yeah, you can see we've got test as a text file there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to copy the file to another folder. So I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just create another file in here. I'm going to call it test 2. So now let's copy that. So we use the copy command. So copy test, test.txt to test underscore 2. Okay, so you can see you get confirmation there. One file has been copied. So now if we navigate into that folder and we use dir again, sure enough, we have our test folder there. So what I'm going to do now, the last step is to delete the original file. Okay, so to do this, let's move up a step into test folder, and you can see, yep, we have that that empty text file there. So we're going to use the del command followed by the file. So let's go ahead and do that. Use directory again, and sure enough, we have deleted the empty text file. Okay, so hopefully you are following along and you found that useful. If there is any sort of queries, comments, questions, just pop them in the chat, and we have about 8 minutes left, so I can get around to any of those questions if you find that useful, or if you have another question that's maybe not related to the content of this, but you just maybe want a bit of help with something else, you can go ahead and pop it in the chat. Don't suppose we've got any questions at the minute, do we, guys?
No questions at the moment, no.
Okay, cool. Well, in that case, maybe I'll give it a couple of more minutes to 25 past, and if we have no questions, then we can just wrap up the session if you're both okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll keep an eye on the chat and let you know.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Well, I'll stop sharing for now, and I'll just mute myself for a couple of minutes. Okay, well, if there's still no questions in the chat, then I guess we'll just sort of wrap up here.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.